Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church, Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations where we generally look at one or another lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. For today, for Monday, I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at a portion of the lesson that's assigned from St. Mark's Gospel for morning prayer. And that we're going to just jump into the middle of it and begin with verse number 1 of the 3rd chapter. And he entered again into the synagogue, and there was a man which had a withered hand, and they watched him, whether he would heal him on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him. And he saith unto the man which had the withered hand, Stand forth. And he said unto them, Is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath days, or to do evil? To save life, or to kill? But they held their peace. And when he had looked around on them with anger, being grieved for the hardness of their hearts, he saith unto the man, Stretch forth thy hand. And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored whole as the other. And the Pharisees went forth and straightway took counsel with the Herodians against him, how they might destroy him. Okay, so again, we've talked about this in other instances of the other Gospels, that unfortunately, we tend to not see the forest from the trees when it comes to things religious. And in the case of the Jewish authorities, they knew what the law was. They knew the teaching of the law and the prophets. However, they had gotten to a point where they'd become, well, I hate to use the phrase, but they'd become Pharisaical about it, right? That's where we get that word from, because it's the Pharisees that we're talking about. The idea that we somehow compile up, well, what this rule says, don't do this. Well, what it really means is don't do this, this, and don't do this, and we add layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And what suddenly happens is we've not only lost the clear meaning of the commandment, but we get so worked up that we lose sight of the fact that that commandment is there for our good, because God knows how he wants us to live, that God has created us to be a certain particular way. And so here are the Pharisees, who, it is a good thing for us to take a Sabbath rest, right? It's a good thing for us to spend time in worship and to glorify God on the Sabbath day. It's a good day for us to do something of recreation, to be recreated, and to do something out of the other rest of the pattern of our life. We physically need that. We emotionally need that. We spiritually need that, right? God bless whoever that ambulance is heading towards. We need this. Right? But the problem is that the Pharisees, the Sadducees, have become so caught up in the minutia of setting rules upon rules upon rules in order to somehow interpret and enforce the rule, that they lost sight of the fact that the Sabbath was made for our good, not in order to punish us. And so it is that healing is always good, right? It's a blessing. It's not labor. To have a man's hand restored on the Sabbath day is something for which we rejoice. And yet they use it as an occasion to accuse Jesus and to make counsel with the Herodians, right? And you know, Herod was that king of Judea, but he was also, a lot of the religious authorities didn't like Herod because he wasn't the legitimate king in the sense of the line of the great kings of Israel. And he was a Roman puppet, basically. And so, again, all the hypocrisy of this, because they've lost sight that the commandments is about the love of God helping us, and not about trying to keep us in line and tell us to not do something, right? We are to not do something. Yeah, absolutely. We are to not do things that don't please God, but we don't do them because of our own good, not because we've added layer and layer and layer upon it. So, like I said, today is Monday. We do have 12:15 Holy Communion today and 4 o'clock evening prayer. I hope you can join us in person or join us online. We are watching this meditation. And also, if you haven't noticed, there's also a lunchtime meditation that's appearing for Lent in a short little 2 minutes or so from Father Andrew of the Society of Divine Compassion, again on these same internet spaces. And may God grant you a Monday that is full of blessings.